All right, I want to welcome in the next member of our panel. Right here, we're going to talk a little football. Will Overstreet, VFL Will Overstreet. Will, thanks for being here, man.
It's glad to be here.
Want to talk about, I'm going to give you a chance to be Mr. Positive.
All right, great.
I tried to get Sterling, and he couldn't come, so it's like, well, I'll just have to make you Sunshine Willie.
That's right.
But here's the big question. In spring practice, they just hit spring break, so the players are off doing their thing. Spring practice will reconvene. First of all, what are your thoughts on that? You do spring practice and you stop in the middle, then you have to come back.
It's to make sure you don't go too crazy on spring break. Like that you realize, hey, by the time I get back, it's going to be tough. Because I guarantee that first practice back from spring break, they're going to let you know.
Run all that.
We're going to do a conditioning test that week. So if you go out and do a little too much partying, you're going to pay for it come that first practice.
Run the pizza and beer out of it.
That's exactly right.
Let me ask you, though, when you look at the big picture for this team, give me your top reason for optimism for the 2025 season. Because you look at it, you're coming off of a playoff year. You've got a lot of the national pundits are still having you in the top 10 this year. When you've got a lot of people to replace, key people in key positions. So what do you think is the biggest reason for optimism?
Well, I think you have a continuity in this coaching staff, right? So I think just, if you look at the NFL over years, the Pittsburgh Steelers, things like that, where you have a coaching staff that's just there year after year after year, that gives you a better chance of coming over weak spots where you're not going to always be the best, and it gives you less of a chance of having that terrible floor, right, and falling down completely. So I think having this coaching staff here for another year, just consistency around this program, everybody knows some things about it, what it can do. I think it's always good. I think the other thing, too, if you look at the schedule, who are your away games? Because that's where you're really going to look in the SEC. Who do you have to play on the road? Well, you play Mississippi State and you play Kentucky on the road. Those are still two games that if I had to go into the season, I give that to Tennessee, right? Then I go, okay, I've got to play Alabama and Florida also on the road. Well, Alabama's going to be working a new quarterback. And so you're going, how does that person come into play? That's going to be a big game. That could be a bigger game for them early on in the season. It's still on the road. You wouldn't necessarily give Tennessee out the gate right now like they're going to win that game. But you go, okay, there could be some things with the new coaching staff. It's not been consistent. And you got a new quarterback they're going to have to be working in. I don't know how that's going to be. So maybe I give myself, hey, I got a better than punch or shot at that being a win for us. And then you've got, look at Florida. At least you're not getting the Gators early on in the year, where you have the temperature of going down there, humidity. You catch them later in the year.
Like you guys did in 2001.
Exactly, so it gives you a little bit cooler. The other bad thing is I'd say it gets that, my own counterpoint there would be it's November, and there always seems to be a bad November game for this coaching staff. But overall, I would rather play Florida deeper in the year if I have to play them at their place.
You look at it, I think I would go with coaching staff, not just the continuity, but to me, they have, since they've arrived, I didn't think they would win 7 games in that first year when they lost all those players. So they overperformed that year. I sure didn't see an Orange Bowl bid, an 11-win season the next year. So they overshot that one.
Right.
The next year, 9-3. It's about kind of where I had them. Last year, I didn't see that as a playoff team going into it. So 9 times out of 10, or 3 times out of 4, this coaching staff does a little bit more than I expect. So I'll look at the roster and I see, well, that's a hole, that's a hole, that's a hole. But in the end, they do a pretty good job of filling in the holes.
And playing with who they have on the team. And then you have to look at it and go, are you going to be good on defense? I think all indications are, listen, they figured out how to find players and put players, especially on the defensive line, to make this a top-tier group. I just have to look at Rodney Gardner and what they've been able to do in the last couple of years, and I go, that's consistently something that I can go say, I can probably count on that being a top-tier defensive line in this league. So with that, I go, hey, that's going to give me a chance here too.
I was looking forward to Jermod McCoy having a second year in the system because he looked good. Like tears his ACL, should be back, but you wonder. Sometimes it takes a year, depending on the position. Some react better than others. Receivers usually takes a year before they're really confident. We'll see about a cornerback, but that's the only thing that I would feel so much better about this defense. If McCoy hadn't gotten hurt, you've still got Gibson there, you're good to go. The McCoy thing throws an odd wrench into the plans, but we'll see. All right, Will, I tell you what, hang around with us because we got more coming up when we come back. Can Nico Iamaleava take the step forward that everybody expects if the receivers beside him and the offensive line in front of him don't take an equal step forward? Make that next. Come on back on the Sports Show.